So Elon Musk, I'm looking at this. He's gone back. He says he's done with politics. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. You need politics because politics get you contracts. But I don't blame him being done with politics. The frustration that, he stepped on a lot of toes, which I never had a problem with because it's in that situation, first of all, he promised a lot and delivered very little. And is it all Elon's fault? No. Was he going to find $2 trillion in cuts? Never going to happen. The fact is I think he's very upset too, perturbed by the way that a lot of this is shaking itself out because he went through hell. And he went through it in a major way. And I'm sitting there going, man, talk about somebody whose name became mud. That was once, kind of a beloved, wacky figure of super eccentric and all of the things, and people would marvel at him, to somebody who really, took it in the grundle. And what did he get for it? Couldn't really put a number on how much was saved. Wasn't a lot. I got what I thought we were going to get out of it, which was government's big, it's bulky, bureaucracy sucks. We waste money. There's some fraud, but not a lot. There's abuse, but it's not we're far more efficient than we are. But we're also a massive. It's
sanctioned abuse. It's sanctioned by Congress and signed into law by the president.
There you go. It's it. It's one of those things where the lawmakers write the laws that they live above. When I hear young people say, I don't want capitalism. I don't want this kind of capitalism. This is crony capitalism. This is handing your buddy stuff. Right? Like you would talk about Nepo babies. This is Nepo capitalism. It's your pals, it's your friends, it's who you know, it's not what you know, it's how you can help them, which will decide how much they help you.
The less power government has, the less ability they have to abuse things. So if you have a small government that doesn't have a lot of ability to interfere in your life, there's less that companies are going to spend money trying to lobby and bribe and all this other stuff because government won't be able to do anything for them.
No. And that's that. Our founding fathers didn't, when they put on their wigs, they weren't thinking to themselves, I'm putting on my wig, I'm going to town because I'm going to go find people that were willing to put my wife Martha on a board so she can get 8.6 shillings sterling or whatever wacky thing they were trading back there. No, it's not what they wanted. And Bell's right, man. The power, the K Street, if you know what K Street is, so if you go to D.C., there's a famous row, across the street from essentially the Capitol and everything. It's K Street. K Street's where all the lobbyists are. That's where all the power is. Because money craves power. Power needs money. It's Reese's peanut butter cups, but for evil things. And so they go and court it. And lo and behold, this is why we have the nightmare that we have. We have, and I look at the Republicans right now, and I know everybody's like, well, Massey's this, and everybody's a no. You can't be, if you're honest with yourself, you can't be happy with this. You can't be going, hey, this bill's going to be great. This giant, we're going to raise the debt limit by $5 trillion or $4.5 trillion, and somehow that's magic. That's why Elon's pissed, because he walked away and said, you can be big, you can be beautiful, you can't be both.
And they're not raising the debt limit to not spend that money.
Oh, yeah. They're fine maxing out their card.
No, they're fine maxing out your card.
Or our card. You know what? They're not even maxing out Bell's card, Jay's card, my card. They're maxing out my kids' cards at this point. And their kids, if they ever have kids. That's the frustration we should all feel. And I know when I started talking to EJ about, she's like, well, there's some good things. That's great. There's some good things in it. Okay. But the thing that, when everybody says, well, trade hurts us and it's an evil thing that's happening. And if we got this, we are so far upside down. Honest to God, I wish he would call Dave Ramsey. Wouldn't that be great? Well, Dave, we owe $36 trillion. Okay, what do you make here? About $4.5 trillion. But our expenditures are between 6 and, he would put America on rice and beans or whatever he tells everybody to get. The dogs and beans or rice and beans?
No, it's rice and beans, beans and rice.
Yeah. He would. I mean, I always go back to that movie, Dave. If you guys have never seen that movie, Dave, it is hilarious with Kevin Kline and Charles Grodin. And Charles Grodin, he has like a small... Kevin Kline is a lookalike to the president who dies, and it's kind of like what we just went through. And they get a lookalike to pretend to be the president until they can sort it out behind the scenes. And he wants to keep something that he thinks is good, like an inner city program. So they're like, go ahead, if you can find a way to keep it. He brings Charles Grodin in, who's just like a regular like accountant. And he goes, who does these books? Do these people not understand math? No, because when you can print money, because remember, inflation comes from where? Outside of the craziness of what took place on, in COVID and the supply chains breaking. Inflation comes from one place, DC, because they can print money. So, no, he didn't get all the things he wanted done. And I think he was also a little surprised about, the not only the way he was hated, but also the fact that, it wasn't as the core programs weren't run as poorly as people think. And I know one of the big Doge guys who was let go said, I was let go because I did an interview, and I was surprised. And I told him, look, I'm surprised that this, our government is not as inefficient. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we've got a spending problem. Since I was a kid, we've had a spending problem. And that will continue to happen because there's nobody reining these people in. And these people, Congress, they'll do what they've always done. They'll retire right around the time it's going to become a giant nightmare. And they'll leave and go, oh. They don't want to be the last one to kick the can against the wall. Where they can't go over the wall. They can't go around the wall. They're not going to go through the wall.
When AI hits and actually starts to eliminate large-scale numbers of jobs, that's when... If we don't have our fiscal house in order, that's when the government is going to be so looked to for help and support that it'll probably be the thing that crashes the economy.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I was thinking last night, do you think they tax robots? I think they have to at some point in time, don't you think?
Yeah, I would think so. If just as a sales tax purchase, if nothing else.
Yeah. So, but you figure there's going to have to be a robot tax if you have robots, because if you replace 75, 100 workers with robots, taxing them because you just took taxes away. And so you're going to have to come up with something where you tax them. But you're right. We got issues, and
they'll use a robot tax to incentivize keeping human workers.
Yeah, it's a possibility. That is a possibility. Here's the thing, though: if all things were equal, the robot's going to win in a manufacturing setting if you can only work 8 hours, and he can work. And I say it can work 20, whatever it identifies as, can work 24 straight hours without a break for the most part. So that's going to be interesting. Do you tax him for all 24 hours? Do you tax him by the hour the robot's on? They're going to come up with something, and then states will come up with something. That will happen. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. AI, and we're going to get to it in a little bit, trade school, but the powers that be are talking about the bloodbath they think is coming when it comes to, because I think a lot of people thought AI is coming for all these white collar workers. They're looking right at you. They think 1 in 5 jobs is going to be gone within the next 24 months.